There we go. All right, well, I'm going to reheat my coffee while you guys are regathering yourselves. I'm going to put you right back up here. I am. And you back up here. Shake you guys all over the place. Move y'all around. There we go. Do, do, do. There we go. All right, I'm going to get my coffee. I'm going to grab a hit. I'm going to eat my mango stuff. That's right. Yeah, I'm back, huh? Say, we're back, huh? We are. Let me know if anybody can hear me. I just had to reboot and see if my microphone is working. You guys give me a heads up. Let me know if anybody, can you hear me this time?
That's what I want to know.
Is my microphone working, you guys? Can you hear me? Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Talk to me. It works. Yay! Thank God. Nothing worse than trying to talk to people and you can't even freaking hear me. Here. Now, what I want to know is who's got any questions? Seriously, challenge me today. You know, I love these things. I don't care. Nobody says that these are for kids only. These are awesome. Apple, kale, and blueberry. Love it. Absolutely love it. Give me a serving of my fruit. You want to see an old tabby cat? Come here, baby girl. Come here, baby girl. Oh, you're going to run away from me? No, come say hi to everybody. You guys, this is Cassie. Cassie is about 18 years old, and she's getting senile. Yes, all I have to do is make any kind of move anytime during the night, and Cassie decides it's feeding time. Huh, sweetie? I know. Animals. Remember, you take a dog or a cat into your house, that's something permanent. That's something lifetime. You know, we're not talking about something that can be returned. You know, these animals don't come with a return label. Can you hear me clearly? Do I need to speak up a bit? Let me know, because this Snowball, I love this microphone. I've been using it because I write my books audio. I don't type so much anymore. I use the Dragon, Naturally Speaking, to write books. In fact, that's how I wrote about 90% of Pushing Double Nickels was audio. I talked to my computer. You know, it's awesome. Got to be careful though, because if you don't go back and edit, sometimes you'll see stuff that goes in there that just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It tries, but it's not perfect. Anyhow, hit me with some questions, you guys. I'm an ACE certified personal trainer. My name is Brad Fischel. I'm an ACE certified personal trainer, ACE certified health coach. I used to be a 250-pound, 30-year cigarette smoker. I let myself get so out of shape that by the time I was 45, and this was 2005, I was 250 pounds and still smoking a pack of cigarettes every day. In fact, I'll pull out I keep my old driver's license from way back when. One, because the DMV just kept on using the same darn picture. And two, because it reminds me, if I'm not careful, I can easily get back to where I was. Now, this was me in 2010. Give you a good look at this. Yeah, 2010. And this was a little over 200 pounds, about 205 pounds. All right. I spent 25 years in the computer industry. Loved IT. Loved it. You know, I was in training mostly. User groups, training, anything computer related. 25 years, I loved it. Only problem is, I loved it too much because I would spend the entire day in the office. sitting, working on my computer. I'd go out for lunch. I'd get cheeseburger, fries, shake, sometimes two things, a chicken sandwich and a cheeseburger, or a double cheeseburger. And I'd take it back to the office, and I'd sit there and I'd eat it. And I'd spend the rest of my afternoon working on the computer. I'd go home, say hi to the wife, kids, get back on the computer, and then work on the computer again for hours when you're in a job that you love. And those of you who have a job that you love, and when you do find something that you love to do, you'll tend to do it a lot. Only problem is, and this is something that we're all hit with in America right now, many jobs require us to be sedentary, to sit and do things. That is what caught up to me in Q1 2005. Now remember, 2004, as I'm getting all the way up to 250 pounds, I'm still smoking a pack a day, mostly Camel filters. But I wasn't having anything weird symptoms. I felt good. So yeah, I was fat and happy, I guess you could say, at that time. But in January of 2005, I started having some really weird symptoms. One, I was constantly thirsty. I couldn't get enough to drink. Water, juices, I was still drinking, sugared sodas. It didn't matter. My thirst just wasn't being quenched. I downed a whole thing of water and I still was thirsty. And naturally, when you're drinking all those liquids, you're going to the bathroom all the time. On top of that, and this one was really strange, my vision improved. Literally improved. I didn't know it until I went in to see my optometrist, but the contacts, my prescription contacts and my glasses, they weren't working properly. And that was another indication that my blood sugars were out of control. My A1C was somewhere up in the 8-9 range. My glucose was 380 when I went in and finally was diagnosed. At the time, my BMI, and this is a number that's extremely important and one that everybody should know, my BMI at that time was about 38. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with the body mass index, it's a simple matter of your height and your weight will determine what your current BMI is. You can go Google BMI index, and it'll show you the chart, and you can just put in your height and your weight. It'll tell you what your current BMI is. Anything over 30 is considered overweight, obese. Anything over 35 is extremely obese. At 38, and I'll show you the picture just to really scare you. Here you go. Like I say, I keep this on purpose. Here we go. Well, there we are. That was 252 pounds of me. 252 pounds. A certified personal trainer. Thank you very much. Now imagine 252 pounds, still smoking cigarettes, and the doctor tells me, you've got type 2 diabetes. That was the diagnosis they hit me with. That was May 2005. So you have type 2 diabetes. And remember, at that time I was 252 pounds and still smoking a pack a day. And he says, you've got type 2 diabetes. You need to make some changes. Or you can start picking some toes and fingers that you don't like, because eventually they're going to go bye-bye. Your vision can go, and eventually your life. Now, out of 330 million Americans, 30 million of us, including me, have been diagnosed. We know we have type 2 diabetes. Of those 30 million who have been diagnosed, 10 million are not being treated. 1/3 of those people who already know they have type 2 diabetes. They know they can lose toes, fingers, eyesight, and their life, but they're not being treated. Now that's a very scary number, but an even scarier number is this. Currently, there are 70 million Americans with prediabetes. What is prediabetes? Well, that's almost diabetes. That means that you have a choice. you're right there on the edge. All right, you can either get into full-blown diabetes and be like me, have type 2 diabetes the rest of your life and have to take medication for it, or you can do a little bit to get off of that list, to get away from pre-diabetes. Remember, 2/3 of Americans right now are either overweight or obese. Out of 330 million Americans, over 200 million are either overweight or obese. I was one of them. I know. I was one of those statistics. Fortunately for me, I was able to fall back on my Marine Corps training. I was able to go back to my boot camp days, my ground pounding days as an infantryman, and discipline myself to the point where I knew what I had to do, and I got it done. At age 56, I became a certified personal trainer. 6 months after that, I got the goal I wanted, which was the ACE certified health coach. For me, I want to help people lose weight and get in shape and get their diabetes under control, manage their pain. Believe me, if you saw the x-rays and MRIs of my back, or if you've actually read, and believe me, if you want the ebook, I'll send you the ebook for free. The first chapter in here is quitting smoking, because there's absolutely no way you're going to get your health in order. Absolutely no way if you still smoke cigarettes. 45 million Americans still smoke cigarettes. 1,700 teenagers a day are picking up the damn habit. So this has got to stop. I mean, that is probably one of the easiest ways that you can start getting your health in order, is to get rid of the frickin' tobacco. Right? And it's not easy, but if you do it, plan it properly, you can do it right the first time. I started at 15. Full-time smoker at 15. By the time I was 46, I was still at a pack a day, Camel filters, and I knew when the time came that I was ready, because I planned for it. I did everything that I had to do to make certain that when the day came, I was going to quit. There was no way I was going to fail in this. Because remember, I had just had that meeting with my doctor in May. You need to make these changes, otherwise, pick toes, fingers, eyesight, Type 2 diabetes is nothing to mess around with. And being who I am, the A personality type I am, and the leader that I am, I tend to lead more than follow. It's always been that way. It was that way in information technology. It'll be that way till I die. I tend to lead more than follow. So I knew if I had to make the changes, I was going to have to be the one I had to rely on to get it done. I also figured out over time, I had to find something that I was going to be able to do that would keep me interested, something I could do every day, something I could do anywhere I was on the planet, whether I was at work, at home, on vacation, it didn't matter. So for me, it turned into power walking. I have other friends who like to do boxing. I have other friends who like to go running, other friends who like to do swimming. I mean, as a personal trainer, a certified personal trainer, my very first client is me. There's absolutely no way you're going to trust me as your personal trainer or health coach if I certainly can't, walk the walk. I can stand up here and talk to you about being healthy all day long. But if my numbers, and with my personal care physician, my primary care physician, if the numbers that we talk about, if she, and I have a female primary, she's awesome, and if she's not happy with my numbers, then I'm not doing what I need to do to stay healthy. And the numbers we'll talk about again. These are numbers that everybody should have. The first step in getting your health under control, taking control of your health, is to get these numbers in order. Now that you can hear me, I want to take a quick peek, see if anybody has any specific questions. Otherwise, I'm just going to sit here and talk to you all day long about being healthy and what you can do to be healthy. Yes, I am an author. I published my book in 2014, and I have another book coming out this next year, but this one's going to be for dogs. The Pushing Double Nickels was my book to try and help people, and I have, and I'm really pleased to say the purpose for putting out Pushing Double Nickels was to help people quit smoking, lose weight, get their health in control, manage diabetes, manage chronic pain. Those are the first 5 chapters in the book. Sitting is not good for the human body is a chapter. Optimism is the advantages of being an optimist is a chapter in there. And for me, the glass is always half full. I don't care how bad things get. I will always find a way to make something positive out of it. Otherwise, what's the point? If you spend your entire day being negative, then guess what? That's going to show in your personality. That's going to show in your interactions with other people. In the same vein, if you try to keep a positive light on things, and that's good for your overall health. Internally, keep your blood pressure down. Try and keep a positive light about things, a positive attitude about things. Over the long term, optimism is its own reward. That just simply means you have perseverance, you have stick-to-itiveness, you don't give up that easy. And being an optimist is something you can really choose. That's something you can work on. Not everybody is born, whoa, up, 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 up. It really is something you have to work on, being positive. So, and as a leader in IT, information technology, for many years, and I had folks that worked with me as well as peers, I always tried to be the person who was always the one that everybody wanted to go to when they needed an up, needed a lift, something positive. So for me, it's a natural, after getting out of computers, that I would turn into a personal trainer, more importantly to me, a health coach. The broader scope of practice as a health coach allows me to help people lose weight. I teach people about nutrition, how to read labels. It's extremely important when you go shopping that you know how to read labels and everything properly on those labels. One of the biggest things that people miss is the serving size. You know, you'll look at a package, it'll say this many calories, but you'll miss the fact that there's 4 servings in that package. So you'd have to multiply that serving size times those calories to find out how much is actually in there. So if you eat the whole thing and you only think you had 200 calories and you actually ate 800 calories, that's a big difference. Because every 3,500 calories that you don't burn off, that you consume, turns into a pound of fat. That's how I went from 170 pounds to 250 pounds over less than a 2-year period, because I was not watching what I was eating. Well, I was watching it. I was just watching it go in, is basically what I was watching. So the calories is the objective when you're trying to lose weight. You want to get yourself down to a negative energy balance versus a positive energy balance. What's the difference? A negative energy balance means that the combination of all of the calories that you consume that day, food, liquids, snacks, whatever, everything that went into your body that counts as a calorie, right? Versus the number of calories that you burned either just by living, because you'll burn a certain number of calories every day, just your heart rate and your breathing, but by activity, by exercise. So I will take a client who's new with me after we've got all of their initial numbers from their doctor, and I will work with someone's doctor, especially if they've been hit with type 2 diabetes. If the doctor says, you've got to lose weight, I will work with the doctor, and we have a little process that we go through. Remember, as an certified personal trainer and a certified health coach, I'm fully HIPAA compliant. That means any conversations that go on between me and my client, or me and their doctor, or the 3 of us together, that's strictly confidential. I don't care if you're someone who, like me, needs to lose more than 100 pounds. It doesn't matter what we're talking about. Anything we discuss stays between me and my client, or me and my client's physician, once we have that channel in place. I also have an awful lot, a very wide referral network. Everything from back specialists, orthopedic specialists, podiatrists, optometrists. There are things that you need to stay on top of, especially if you're a diabetic like me. I have to get my labs done every 90 days, and my doctor and I discuss them. You know, my A1C, my blood sugars. Of course, I test my blood sugars daily with my glucometer. I always make certain that my cholesterol is where it needs to be, and I do take cholesterol meds for that, blood pressure medication. And if you saw the x-rays and MRIs of my spine, or if you've read my book, especially the introduction, it explains what exactly took me out of the information technology industry. And I would still be doing it now if I was able to sit for any length of time. I allowed myself to get to the point where I was so heavy I did permanent damage to certain parts of my lower spine. And sitting for long periods of time will give you lordosis. It can give you lordosis. That is sway back. There are 3 different things that affect the human spine physically. 3 different defects of curvature. Lordosis, or what we call sway back, is the same thing you see in a horse, you know, an old nag, as you say, and it's the lower in your lumbar, and it curves your spine forward, right? Then you've got kyphosis, which is the humpback, the Notre Dame syndrome, and then of course scoliosis, which actually is the bending of the spine either in an S or a C curve, either way. And that any of these can be anywhere from mild to advanced. Now, anytime you're dealing with those kinds of spinal issues, staying mobile, staying active, having a good center of gravity, having good balance, and being limber is extremely important. So sitting is going to be just the opposite of that. If you spend all of your time sitting, if you're sedentary and you're not moving, then you're literally allowing your spine to fuse. I mean, you may not see it happen overnight, but you spend 2.5 decades like me working in computers, where I would spend the entire day either sitting in the office working on a computer, or sitting in my car driving to some place to help work on a computer, or going to a meeting and sitting in a meeting to talk about working on computers or training. I mean, I would spend anywhere from up to 16 hours a day sitting and working on computers, or just sitting and watching television. Otherwise, sitting was the disease that caught up with me and got me overweight, hit me with type 2 diabetes, and basically wound up with me not being able to do what I used to do in information technology. So, me turning lemons into lemonade basically meant that at age 56, I had to retrain. Became a certified personal trainer so I can help other people lose weight, get in shape. But my goal was the health coach certification. That, to me, when I read the description of what a health coach is, that was exactly what I wanted to do. But the personal trainer is prerequisite. So that's awesome. You know, you want to build your muscles up, you want to do some personal training, that's great. But my clients, the ones that take the biggest advantage of my experience and knowledge, are the ones who want to quit smoking, the ones who want to lose weight, the ones who need to manage type 2 diabetes, or, and hopefully if any of you are out there that are pre-diabetic, and your doctor will tell you, believe me, get your labs done, get your A1C, talk to your doctor. If you're one of those 70 million Americans who's currently pre-diabetic, that's something that you can change. 10%. Take off 10% of the weight that you have right now. If you're pre-diabetic, and I can guarantee you, it correlates so closely. The heavier you get, the more likely you are to be pre-diabetic or diabetic. I guarantee that's what my endocrine system said. I give up. You know, you're 250 pounds, you're sitting around all day working on a computer, and you smoke cigarettes. You know, why don't you just, kill yourself now, official? You've just about done it slowly over time. So this isn't anything that's going to happen overnight as far as getting healthy. And I see these commercials on television. Lose weight fast. Guaranteed lose this much 30 days. I hate those guys. Because one, they're just trying to offer you a short-term fix. And that's not going to be anything that's going to last you any length of time. What you have to have is a lifestyle change. You've got to make the changes that are going to be permanent, something that you're going to be able to stick to. If you join these Nutrisystems and these diet plans, or even, I've had friends get bariatric surgery only to be 2 years later right back where they were. Why? Because they did not change their habits. They didn't make the lifestyle changes required so that they could become healthy and stay healthy. It's a permanent thing. One of the key things on besides the 75-25 rule, 75% of being healthy is your diet, 25% of being healthy is exercise and moving. But one of the key things is, of that 25%, you've got to find something that you can do and stick to, something that you enjoy. If oh my God, I don't want to go jogging. If that's in the back of your mind all of the time, how likely are you to stick with it? I don't want to go work in the gym. Believe me, when I was 250 pounds, the last thing I wanted to do was to walk into a gym someplace in one of these health clubs with all these, people in awesome shape. Well, I'm sitting there trying to figure out how to lose 100 pounds. The last thing I wanted. A lot of my clients, I Skype with them. We Skype together, and it's awesome because it doesn't matter. They can be anywhere on the planet, and I can work with them. I can help them. I'll do texting, I'll do emails, I'll even do calls if they need something immediate. But for me, Skype is just amazing because it allows me, one, to show them what I need to show them. I can warm up with them, I can exercise with them. Two, we can do goal setting. And it's always better to do goal setting. As far as I'm concerned, I'd rather sit with you in person. But next best thing is Skype. So if you have a need to lose weight, to get yourself in shape, I am taking on clients. Hit me up on any of my social media connections. And if you want to quit smoking, and this is my community give back, I'm doing this for free. Anybody that wants to get rid of the cigarettes, right, I will work with you. We'll put together a 30, 60, 90-day plan to make sure that at the end of the 90 days, you're no longer smoking cigarettes. You're done. And you're not going to pick them back up again. And to me, there's absolutely no sense in quitting cigarettes if you're just going to turn around and pick it right back up again. So cigarette smoking is something that you have to get rid of before you even try to start to get your health in order. So that's why my last cigarette, July 15th, 2005, have not had one since. Funny thing is, I found a whole pack of cigarettes on the ground not long after I quit. I still have that full pack. I held on to it just to prove I am never going to have another cigarette again for the rest of my life. And it's been 13 years, so I'm pretty sure I can stick to that. And if I can do it, and I did it, and I figured out the formula that works, and I've had others tell me that the formula, it's in the book, the formula works. I've had a couple of my Amazon reviews tell me that they quit smoking with the help, they've lost weight with the help. My goal was to help people with pushing double nickels. That was my goal. I figured, if I can do it, this old couch potato, if this old 25-year computer guy, if I can lose 100 plus pounds, if I can get rid of a 30-year cigarette habit, I can help others do it. And anybody can do it. Seriously. It doesn't matter if you're 20, if you're 50, if you're 80. If you want to make some positive changes in your life, if you want to improve your health, I don't care if you're 80 years old, you can start putting muscle on. There is absolutely no rule that says, I'm too old to get better, or I'm too old to live longer. That's a misconception. Do not fool yourself into thinking I'm too far gone. There's no such thing. Take it from someone who could have gone. I could have gone that route. I could have just said, oh yeah, well then, okay, so I need to lose weight, so I need to quit smoking. And I guarantee you, I probably would not be standing here talking to you right now had I taken that attitude. And that's a scary thing, because pessimism or apathy, which is even worse, right? Not caring, you need to care about your health. Remember, you've got to be your own BFF. If you're not your own best friend, then who's going to be? If you don't like yourself, who's going to like you? And if you have the ability to make the changes in your life, if you've got that ability, why not take it? The human body is malleable. It's like clay. Same with the brain, the human brain. We can change our habits. You get rid of the bad habits, you can replace them with good habits. I've done it. Believe me, I got rid of all of the things that led me up to being diabetic. Right? But not everything. I still eat whatever I like. I do not restrict myself. I don't eat cardboard. One of my clients told me when he was just getting started, Brad, I don't want to eat cardboard. Fine, so don't eat cardboard. But that's a misconception. People think, okay, so I have to get in order, I have to lose weight, I have to get healthy. Oh God, I have to start eating, cardboard things, these popcorn rice cake thingies. No, you can eat whatever you like. It's not so much, what you eat's important. But what more importantly is your portion sizes, how much you eat. Again, at the end of the day, to be healthy, you need to stay at a negative energy balance if you want to lose weight, a positive energy balance if you're trying to gain weight, an athlete, somebody, a teenager growing, somebody getting into more sports. There's not a lot, but there's some out there who are looking to put on weight. But if you're looking to lose weight, at the end of the day, you want to have a negative energy balance. You want to make certain that whatever you're putting in your body, calories-wise that day, gets consumed and burned to the point where you have more calories being burned than you have being stuffed into your face. So first thing I do when I get a new client is, one, I make sure they've had their annual physical from their doctor, and I want all of their numbers. The numbers I want, obviously, I want to know their weight, height, weight, their BMI. I want to know, what is your BMI? Is your BMI in the healthy range? Two, are you currently under any kind of medications for blood pressure? How's your cholesterol? What are your numbers on your cholesterol? Is your doctor happy with all of your numbers? How's your A1C? How are your blood sugars? Are you pre-diabetic? I also want to know what your resting heart rate is. If you don't know what your resting heart rate is, find out. I wear 2 different activity trackers that both track all of my steps, my miles, my sleep, my heart rate. I can tell you this much, and this is something scary. Let me come down and talk to you guys here about this one. I've been tracking my sleep for the last couple of years. So I know when you're in REM sleep, when you're dreaming, and if you guys have any questions on this, let me know, but I'm going to scare you right now. If you're sleeping and you're in REM sleep, you're dreaming, right? Suppose you're being chased by a monster, right? Guess what? Your heart is going to react the same as if you were wide awake in your living room being chased by that monster. Get it? So stay with me on this. Every night, we all dream. Every night we go through light sleep into REM sleep. We do deep sleep. Those are the 3 main phases of sleep. I've been tracking these, and I track when my REM sleep is happening and what my heart rate is at that time. Interesting. And this is how I know for sure. When I'm dreaming, if I'm dreaming something that gets my heart rate really moving, my heart's actually moving. I'm not just dreaming that my heart's pounding. My heart could actually be pounding while I'm having that dream. Now think about this. 90,000 of us die every night in our sleep. We lose 150, 160,000 people a day. Attrition. Everything from natural causes to auto accidents to coronary arterial disease, which is still the leading cause of death in America. So 90,000 of those 150, 160,000 that die every single day, 90,000 die in their sleep every night. They go to sleep, but they don't wake up. Right? It happens to, like I say, 90,000 every day. So imagine if you were like where I was in 2005. I was 252 pounds. I was obese. My BMI was 38. My blood sugars were through the roof, to the point where I should have probably been in a diabetic coma at one point. I was still smoking cigarettes, pack a day, Camel filters mostly, and I was mostly sedentary. In other words, I was fat and happy, working on the computer all day long, working on the computer at home all night. I was just, a fat, happy dad, basically at that point. Now, here I am. My heart has not been exercised. I spend my days sitting around. I'm heavy set, more than heavy set, obese at that point. And then at night, I'm having dreams where my heart rate is being doubled of what it normally would get during the day. Think about that. So imagine that if one night your heart works just a little bit too hard, or you just get just a little bit too scared, or the arteriosclerosis, the clogging of the arteries in there, has just gotten a little bit too closed up, then you have a heart attack and die in your sleep. And it happens to people every single night. And it's one of the things that we can avoid the most. Obesity, being overweight, is one of the easiest things that we can counteract. It's one of the simplest things that I can help people with. I tell folks all the time, 10%. All you got to do is take off 10%. If you're one of those 70 million Americans who currently has prediabetes, remember 330 million Americans, 200 million are overweight or obese, 2/3 of America, 67% right now. 70 million of those 330 million are pre-diabetic. Now, those are the ones that are right on the verge. You're right on the edge, right on the line. You have the choice right now. I say, take off that 10%. Get off of that pre-diabetes list, and then continue to work on it after that. Get your numbers to where your doctor is saying, hey, your numbers are awesome. Your numbers are great. That's where you want to be. The person on this planet beside yourself that you want to make happy is your primary care doctor. All right? Every time you go in for your annual physical, I want to hear that your BMI is good. I want to hear your blood pressure is good, your cholesterol is where it needs to be, your triglycerides are where it needs to be, your high and low lipids are where they need to be. I want to know what your A1C is. Is it in the proper range? And I want to know what your resting heart rate is. Those are all the numbers that are important to me as your personal trainer and health coach. And the fact that you don't smoke cigarettes. So, key issues. Again, I'm going to challenge everybody out there. I'm going to send a free copy of Pushing Double Nickels to somebody. If you can tell me, and this is not a health, this is just the health of the animals kind of thing. If you guys can tell me what emotion is it, and here, take a look at these little monsters. What emotion is it that humans, and dogs especially, don't share? Because we share all the same emotions with these guys. Seriously. They have a limbic system. All mammals have a limbic system. I don't care if it's a cow, a goat, a sheep, a rat. Anything that is a mammal has a limbic system. Anything with a limbic system has feelings. Yes, whales, porpoises, dolphins. Anything that flies, swims, walks, or crawls that's a mammal has feelings. Now just imagine. Somebody puts a puppy under the Christmas tree that wasn't expected. Right? Same thing as handing somebody a 15 to 20 year commitment. Here's a commitment for the next 15 to 20 years. I need you to feed it. I need you to house it. I need you to comfort it. It needs immunizations and shots. It needs its teeth cleaned. And you need to clean its butt and clean up after it constantly. Basically, it's like handing somebody a toddler, a 2 to 3 year old child, and saying, here, spend the next 15 to 20 years taking care of this little individual critter. Because it cannot take care of itself. And you do not take a dog and throw it out in the backyard and expect that is taking care of an animal. That's not how it happens. So, one emotion I find, I've had dogs since I was a child. I've had cats since I was a child. I've worked on a farm. I've been around many animals. I've spent the last 5-6 years doing research into animal emotion. And there's one emotion they do not share with us. There's one emotion that humans have that I cannot find in dogs, cats, any animal that I have had interactions with. And dogs the most, seriously, because they are probably the closest to us emotionally of any of the other mammals. Simply because we took a perfectly good gray wolf starting around 50,000 years ago and basically turned it into a tiny little couch potato that couldn't survive a night out in the wild if its life depended on it, and it would. But one emotion, you tell me. I want to know. See if you guys can guess on here. One emotion that we do not share with animals, that they don't have, that we have. Seriously. Anybody, put it up here. Anybody has a question or has a opinion on this one, I want to hear it. Have you played Sonic CD? Well, I have done Sonic, but it's been a while. I used to do Sonic with my son. but it has been quite a while. Tell me how to lose weight. I'll do it. Well, Wendy, it's a simple matter of numbers game. If you can figure out, and this is real simple, if you can figure out the calories that you're putting into your body every day versus the calories that you're actually burning exercise-wise or with any kind of activity, then we can simply put together a plan that's going to help you take off weight slowly, naturally. 75% of being healthy is your diet. Portion size, not just what you eat, although what you eat is extremely important, but the amount you eat, the portion sizes, that's what's key. That's what helped me. I mean, remember, I'll show you guys again, just because I like to scare people. When I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, I was 252 pounds. That was my driver's license picture. You guys get a good look at that. 252 pounds. Oh, my A certification, by the way, so you know, at least my personal trainer one. I've also got A certified for a health coach. But 252 pounds is what I got up to. And that's what really threw my endocrine system into type 2 diabetes. It was putting on all that weight and being sedentary. I was not exercising. I was spending my entire day sitting in the office working on a computer or going into computer meetings, regarding computers, whatever. My activity on the job for nearly 3 decades was basically sitting. And on top of that, I ate anything I wanted, any amounts I wanted. Now, I still eat anything I want. Ribs, meatloaf, burgers. I hit Mickey D's once a month at least. But now I understand that the amount that I eat is what's going to make the difference. And the amount of exercise that I do, the amount of activity that I do is going to make the difference. So for me, I always have a negative energy balance at the end of the day, or at the very least, right in the middle between a negative energy balance and a positive energy balance. A positive energy balance simply means that you've consumed more calories that day than you burned. Now, for every 3,500 calories that you consume that you do not burn, that turns into 1 pound of fat. Pretty simple math. Every 3,500 calories that you eat, drink, whatever, that goes in your gullet that you don't burn off, either just by normal living, breathing, turns into 1 pound of fat. Now, let's say you're a 200-pound person, right? The autonomic functions, just your general daily burning of calories because you're alive, is right around 10%, a little less than 10% of your body weight. So you figure, if you're a 200-pound person, you'll need around 1,900 calories just to stay where you're at, just to maintain your current weight. So to stay at 200 pounds, you're around 1,900 calories a day, right, just to stay at your current weight. If you want to lose weight, let's suppose that you want to get down to 150 pounds. Let's say you were where I was right there. At 200, I was about 205 pounds right there. Right? That was still almost 50 pounds off of the big fat 252. But let's say you're 200 pounds. Let's say you're 200 pounds. You want to lose 50 pounds. That's almost 65 pounds off for me. But let's say you want to do that. How are you going to lose that kind of weight? Right? You're going to sign up for some Nutrisystem diet plan? You're going to do a lap band or bariatric surgery? I mean, short-term fixes are just that, short-term fixes. That's not something permanent that's going to last. What you need to figure out is how you're going to get to the 75-25 rule. 75% of being healthy is your diet. 25% of being healthy is the exercise, the activities that you do. When I start with a client, the first thing I have them do is to fill out my food diary. I have a 1-week food diary that I send them paperwork, a lot of paperwork to get started, but The food diary I have them fill out, and it's also got a separate page for the activity tracker for that week as well. So what I'll do is I'll have them write down every single thing they ate, every single thing they drank. I don't care if it was a snack. I don't care if they went to Starbucks and got a latte. I want to know everything that went between those lips for one full week. Okay? Not only do I want to know what they ate, I want to know how much. If it came in a package, was it a Nabisco, this or that? Right? Why they ate it? Yes. Were you hungry, or was there another reason? People don't always eat just because they're hungry. Did you eat it with somebody? What time did you eat it? I get pretty specific. So at the end of the week, they know exactly what went in their body, when it went in their body, why it went in their body. Was it manufactured at a McDonald's or in the store? Was it something they cooked themselves? So we have an entire week that we can look at. And I say, don't do anything different than what you normally do. Just because we're doing a food diary, don't start suddenly eating healthy on me. I want to know what you're doing normally. Because if you can't be real with me, how can I help you? So they fill out a week-long food diary and an activity tracker. And that's even if they don't do any exercise. I still want to know, what did you do this week? Okay, I went shopping on this day. All right, I went for a walk with my dog. I want to know all the activity that they did, even if it isn't planned exercise. So at the end of the week, we'll sit down, or we'll Skype, right? And we'll go over all of the calories that they consumed, all of the calories that they burned, and we will have a good indication, if they were honest with me, what we need to do to get them where they want to be. I will also say, do you have all the numbers from your doctor? Do you have all these numbers that are required for me to know what base are we at now? What's your current BMI? What's your current weight, height? What's your current body mass index? Are you on blood pressure medication? Do you take high blood pressure medication? How's your cholesterol? How are your lipids, your triglycerides? Right? That tells me if you may be working on dealing with arteriosclerosis issues, where you're clogged arteries. What is your A1C? And right now, I am guaranteeing you, if you're one of those folks who were where I was, obese, then you are more than likely one of those 70 million Americans who is pre-diabetic, right on the verge of becoming diabetic. I wish to God somebody had gotten in my face way back when and said, listen, you're pre-diabetic. If you're overweight, the odds of you becoming pre-diabetic are high. If you are obese, if your BMI is 30 or above, then you are very, very likely to be more susceptible to type 2 diabetes. Adult onset diabetes is what it's called. I call it diet onset diabetes these days. So if you are in that range, if you're in that 70 million group of 330 million Americans, 200 million are either overweight or obese, 70 million have pre-diabetes, on top of the 30 million like me who've already been diagnosed. But if you're one of those 70 million and you know you need to lose weight, 10% can make such a big difference. One, it could take you off of that pre-diabetes list. It can give you more energy. It could stop putting so much taxation on your heart and your pancreas and your other organs, and in general give you a much more positive outlook. That kind of, even the small steps towards becoming healthier are important. And believe me, it's the small steps that are the most important. Because if you're looking for something that's instant weight loss, instant gratification, it's not going to happen. You did not gain all the weight overnight. Don't expect to lose all the weight overnight. It's got to be a long-term lifestyle change, something that you can stick with, something that for the rest of your life you're going to look forward to. Me, I power walk 4 miles every day. I give myself 1 day off during the week. So I'm doing around 24, 25 miles a week, power walking 4 miles an hour. I started using MBTs. Those are the curved. You can look at all the shoes that I use. I have got just a million pairs, and they all have curves on the bottom. But I started with the MBTs. That was the Masai Barefoot Technology shoes that I discovered. This, yeah, it was 2005 when I first started this. And what were great about these is I've got really flat feet. And I knew that going in the Marines. They still took me. But curved on the bottom. They're curved on the bottom, kind of like a rocking horse. So when I'm out walking, I'm not snapping down on my heel. I've had plantar in both heels. Plantar fasciitis is nothing to mess around with. Heel spurs, for those of you who aren't familiar. But the Masai Barefoot Technology was also walking a little bit like in sand on the beach. You have to put in a little bit of extra effort. So it really did a lot of good for my midsection, as I was doing my miles, and started then. And ever since then, I do not miss my cardio. I also incorporated weights about 8 years ago. 3 times a week, I'll do about 500-600 reps with dumbbells and kettlebell. My recent addition to the family is a 35-pound kettlebell, and I just love that thing. And kettlebell is one of the things that I love to teach my clients. I don't start them with a heavy weight. I start them with small weights. But if you really want to kick up weight loss, adding in a little resistance training is highly recommended. You want to keep muscle mass, especially for those of us who are older. When we want to lose weight, we also have a tendency to lose muscle mass in the process. And losing muscle mass is something natural that happens over time anyway, but you can combat it. In fact, you can do just the opposite. You can build muscle at any age. I don't care if you're 80 years old. I can work with you to help you build some muscle. And building muscle is also an awesome way to help keep bone from deteriorating. So, ladies, I know that you have issues with osteoporosis. And one of the best ways to combat osteoporosis is the exact same way to combat osteoarthritis. Move, exercise, movement, stretching, being limber, having a good range of motion are all important features, especially as we age. One of the things that I do with the senior fitness test, I do offer the senior fitness test for anybody. I can offer a fitness test, but specifically for my baby boomer friends, I do a lot of fitness testing for seniors. What we happen to have is a loss of range of motion, a loss of the ADL, the activities of daily living become diminished as we age. And that what turns someone from being able to live on their own and take care of themselves from having to perhaps live in a home or having in-home care or even in a nursing facility. Just a little bit of exercise, a little bit of stretching, making a difference in their activity level can make such a big change. So if you're like me, getting up in age, or if you have parents or grandparents, and you know that they're mostly sedentary, you might talk to them about it. Just a little bit of activity can make a big difference. And like I say, if you're overweight now, if you're obese now especially, 10% can make such a huge difference in your life. I mean, take you off the pre-diabetes list if you're on there. Can certainly help with things like lower back pain. If you're one of the 100 million Americans, like me, who suffers back pain, exercise, movement, stretching, anything that gets you moving, like the Tin Man with the oil, is going to help. Conversely, sitting around all the time, being sedentary, working on the job, then going home and sitting around and watching TV and not getting in at least the minimum amounts required. And remember, the CDC says, Centers for Disease Control, if you want to stay at the weight you're at, just if you're at a good weight and you want to stay there, to be healthy, you need 30 minutes of activity, medium intensity activity, 5 times a week. 30 minutes a day times 5 days. So 150 minutes a week of some moderate intensity exercise I want you to double your resting heart rate. And if you don't know what it is, find out. But I want you to double your resting heart rate. And this, of course, is after you've already been through all of the physical, the labs, the checkup, and discussions with your doctor prior. And I work with doctors. I have clients who have me work with their doctors, especially the ones that get all panicked when they get hit. Oh, you've been hit with type 2 diabetes, or they hear they're pre-diabetic. My friend who didn't want to eat cardboard, for instance. But the bottom line is 10%. If you can take off 10% of the weight, that's going to make a huge difference. Anyhow, I have my day to move on to. I'm going to go get myself a little bit of stretching done and some exercise done. And I am scheduled to be back online with everybody tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock Pacific. But if you guys need anything from me in the meantime, you can email me anytime at pushingdoublenickels@yahoo.com, pushingdoublenickels@yahoo.com. Again, whoever emails me, the first email response I get at pushingdoublenickels@yahoo.com that answers my question, what emotion do we have as humans that these guys don't share, in my opinion? And I'm putting this in the dog book next year. The working title of the book for next year is All Dogs Cry. And this is to, my goal is to empty all the freaking shelters. We are responsible for every one of these little guys and the big guys. And we need to step it up and do a much better job. So anybody who sends me an email telling me what emotion I'm convinced that we don't share with these guys, an emotion that humans have, that dogs, cats, and other domestic animals that I, in my opinion, don't have. First one to send me that, I will sign a personalized copy. I'll put a note in there for you, and I will send you this copy for free. If you go on Amazon right now, it's $29.95 plus tax and shipping, yada yada. The hardback, soft cover, I think, is $19.95. And if you are one of those people that is still smoking and you want to quit smoking, I will help you do it for free. Seriously, that's my give back this year and next year. All you have to do is send me an email, help me quit. I want to quit smoking. pushingdoublenickels@yahoo.com. Brad, help me out. I will work with you, and we'll do a Skype session if you're a Skyper, and we will figure out a plan, a 30, 60, 90-day plan that will make sure that at the end of that 90 days, you are no longer a cigarette smoker. Guarantee, if I can do it, 31 years, mostly a pack a day, Camel filters, and I quit on my first attempt, July 15, 2005, and I have not had a cigarette since. If I can do it, I guarantee you I can help you do it. And since I'm helping people do it for free, why not? If you want to lose weight, get healthy, generally hire me as your personal trainer. I'm very much available right now. I am taking on Skype clients. All you have to do is send me an email, consider me please, and then we can, my initial hour meeting with you online is free. So we'll discuss what it is you want to get done, and if we determine that I can help you, then yes, perhaps I can take you on as a client, as a health coach or personal trainer. But like I say, you want to quit smoking, I will help you do that for free. So you just got to send me an email. Now remember, I'm a good personal trainer, but I can't force you to quit smoking. I can't get in your face and say, quit, down to give me 20. But if you're ready, and that means you're ready here and you're ready here, I can help you. If you're at the point where you want to get your health in order, and you're ready to take control of your health, and you're a cigarette smoker, first step. There's no way you're going to get your health in order if you still smoke cigarettes. It's impossible. That's like saying I want to eat healthy while you drink poison every day. It just doesn't work. So tomorrow morning, I'll be back online. Hopefully we'll get some more stretching done tomorrow and limber up. I don't want to answer any questions that you have again tomorrow. And hopefully if somebody got the answer right, and I really want to know, seriously, before I go, if there's any questions I want to answer, hit me with them. But I want to know if anybody can guess what emotion. Well, let me see. Have you ever stepped on a bug before? And if you have, do you still do it? Well, let's put it this way. Being who I am, I have a value for all life. And that doesn't matter, what the life is. So I don't purposely kill things. But there are some things that will get me every time. Mosquitoes, flies, cockroaches. Yeah, I will squish or step on any one of those at any time. They have all led to more diseases and death and humans on this planet than every war and disorder in between. Mosquitoes have killed more humans on this planet than all the wars and diseases put together. So for me, it's not so much what is it as far as a bug, is how dangerous is it? Is it something that's going to do me harm? If it's something that's going to do me harm, then yeah, I'll squish it. Anyhow, I love that question. How's it going? Quest for answers. I love that. Anybody else? Come on, hit me up with a. How about a question about current events? Anybody? I do have predictions. What's going to happen in 2018? But then again, politics we can probably stay away from as well. Anyhow, you guys, if you haven't fanned me yet, I would appreciate you go ahead and fanning me now. You give me a thumbs up if I've been at least semi-entertaining today. I'm going to get on with my daily activities, and when you guys have the opportunity, I hope you get off your butts and get moving. Remember, every day is an opportunity to make yourself better. Every day is a new opportunity. Each day you wake up is a bonus. Just the fact that you woke up is a bonus. Everything beyond that is gravy. So take each day, make it the most of what you can. And when you need personal training, you know where to go. I will be talking to you guys tomorrow. Y'all have a great